Good morning, America. And by America, I mean viewers. But we are all American on the inside. Our target for immediate and unnecessary overanalysis today is none other than Swirl the Bearded. But sir, you already did a 2-part video on him, and it was really terrible. Right, you are, little Jimmy, but there is a number of points that I did not discuss. Points that do not relate to Discord. Now, in said video, I looked at, picked apart, and went full cringy cringe, analyzing the common theory that Discord is somehow related to the existence of Swirl. But that is not my focus. Though we have not actually seen Swirl, he usually has a pretty common set of characteristics. Long white beard, blue cloak and hat with stars and crescent moons on them, and white fur. Or skin. Do they have fur? These are the traits that are more or less set in stone. However, in this universe, stone, more often than not, contain unnoticed or forgotten details beneath their surface. So, Swirl, appearance. What about it could be any less than concrete? A lot more than you might have noticed. When episodes air, everyone else might be taking their time gawking at the mere fact of Swirl's presence. Meanwhile, I am doing rigorous study, taking note of every detail.
But a certain Swirl the Bearded wasn't having it.
Oh, say, can you see?
Even befriending a young unicorn wizard. Scorpan Earth's book is Swirl.
Everyone is dumb but me.
All day to celebrate Swirl the Bearded. What could be better?
Rigorous study. What did I notice, you may be asking yourself? Well, for one thing, if you look really closely, you can see that get Christmas presents, right? Outline, edit, audio, friggin' to-do list. You can see that nearly every visual characteristic of Swirl has at least one illustration that depicts an exception to it. Not white, but blue. Not a white beard, but a brown one. Not long and thin, but curly and thick. Even his classic clothes have been subject to change. So were there multiple characters who went by the name of Swirl? No. In fact, it probably means nothing. Try as I may, I could not come up with any vaguely justifiable propositions that could suffice to blow all of your minds. So you will just have to deal with what I did come up with. For one thing, I realize that the legitimacy of the comic books canon still mostly comes down to personal preference. So does that mean that blue Swirl is out? No! This Swirl actually appears in the show. So what does this mean? Does it mean anything? Probably not. All it takes is the viewing of the first episode ever to realize that the storybooks are less than accurate. And it proves that the illustrators were simply just being inaccurate. If we also look at the festival held for Swirl, not even the cosplayers could get his appearance to a consistent state. Basically, nobody remembers what he looks like. Hasbro has yet to actually show what he definitively looks like. In the comic that he appears to banish the sirens in, the narration is revealed to be text from a book he is thought to have written, so the illustrations may just be interpreted as nothing more than the imagination of whoever might be reading said book. In the other comic he appears in, it is a story as told by Celestia, so the illustrations are really just a depiction of her fallible memory. So what does Swirl look like? According to the official journal of the two sisters, he did not have a white beard but a brown one. It only turned gray when he depleted his magic in a failed attempt to lower the moon, but it turned brown again when his magic returned. Otherwise, we know nothing. And even then, for all we know, maybe when Luna said,
"Now even got the bells right,"
she meant right in regards to the generally accepted image of him. Maybe Celestia lied about his beard, in which case we know nothing, period. Now, that leaves a handful of explanations. One explanation, these historical storybooks are just incomplete and inaccurate. Swirl is just the guy we think he is. But what good is a lame explanation like that? That ain't gonna get me no view. I mean, that ain't gonna fly with me. So, though this might sound a lot like one of my other theories, maybe he was a benevolent changeling that couldn't decide on a look for himself. But there isn't much I can offer when it comes to proving that one right or wrong. Maybe he had a relative or a friend that just took over business with a pseudonym while he got some R&R. Or as long as we're going that route, maybe he just had an impersonator. Alternatively, he was known to research and experiment with magic and science. This is what led to the creation of the mirror portals. He may have just altered his appearance on several different occasions. There is a strong possibility that these illustrators were incorrect with their presumptions about Star Swirl's appearance, but there is one other way they may have been wrong too. Why else might nobody have a solid idea of what Star Swirl looked like? What about Star Swirl's life might have caused inconsistencies? Maybe his reputation was skewed, and rumors spread because of some disaster that changed the foundation of who he was. Or as long as we're looking at this line of speculation, maybe something on the other end of the spectrum happened. What if they got more than just his appearance wrong? Like his actions, his work, everything attributed to him. What if it is someone else's doing? What if Star Swirl never really existed at all? Star Swirl might be, in fact, nothing more than a legend conjured up by the two sisters. A metaphorical figure like Uncle Sam that caught too much wind. We've never seen any actual evidence that he was a living, breathing character. We've seen his creations, but for all we know, this was only attributed to him. Maybe someone like Celestia is the actual creator of all these things. Why would she do this? Maybe to draw less attention to herself as a practice of humility, or maybe just for the thrill of fabricating an alter ego of sorts. Maybe it was a childhood imaginary friend that developed into something greater. That would explain his presence in the journal of the two sisters. Then again, maybe these things are the creation of miscellaneous others who either decided to remain anonymous or were just never recognized for their work. However, this theory does have one major flaw, and that is that it screws with another theory that I have. There is a strong question that has itched my brain ever since I first heard about Star Swirl. Will we ever see him in the show? It is a strong possibility. He invented powerful time travel. If the writers wanted to, they could basically throw him in whenever they wanted. But what other ways could Star Swirl show up? Maybe if he had any descendants. So, did he have any descendants? Well, the easiest way to find out is to look at what the show implies about family relationships and descendants. For one thing, kids tend to resemble their parents, not unlike in real life. Most often with their colors and their race. Cutie marks are also often directly related to one's family line. So if he had descendants, what would we look at? Someone who is either similar to a shade of white or blue, someone with either brown or light hair, someone who probably had a cutie mark relating to stars or other celestial bodies, and lastly, either yellow, black, or purple eyes. A white-haired unicorn with purple eyes, blue skin, a magically inclined cutie mark. But what is a descendant of Star Swirl without an exclusively passed down knowledge of ancient powerful artifacts, a cloak, and a hat reminiscent of the family line? Trixie, the descendant of one great and powerful wizard. What if all this time she's really just been trying to live up to her family name, trying to get the same reputation that he had? What do you guys think? Agree? Disagree? Think I'm a man-child with no life who is overanalyzing children's cartoons? Comment below with your thoughts.